Howdy, Patriots. How are we doing tonight? What a great honor it is to be with you in the great state of Texas. I'm sorry about the camera. What it is a great honor to be with you in Kaufman County. As a Cowboys fan, I know it's been a rough few months, especially losing the 49ers. But it's good to be back with you and hope for a good football season next year, right? I want to thank Senator Hall and Representative Bell, who have been great partners at the General Land Office, great leadership that represents you. And I thought I'd recognize them because I'm already working on some ideas for the Attorney General's office. And it involves addressing the issues that I'm seeing on the streets of Texas. First is securing the border. I think that's the priority for all conservatives, all Americans, all patriots in our great country. Because this is not only an issue that affects our state sovereignty, but our nation's sovereignty. And so I'm proud to be endorsed by the National Border Patrol Council in this race, the union that represents the 19,000 agents that keep the watch every single day. They know I'm going to be tough on bloody drug cartels. They know that I'm already suing the Biden administration in my capacity as serving you as land commissioner under the National Impoundment, that's all right, get some films up there, under the National Impoundment Control Act to compel the federal government to spend money that was appropriated for the Trump wall. Because Texas will lead the nation in finishing President Trump's work. We're also doing our best to respond to this border crisis in an extensive border tour.
The microphone is interfering. The microphone's interfering with the camera. Just stand by. There you go.
I'm the only candidate to travel the entirety of the border twice during this campaign. I've driven from El Paso to McAllen, all 1,200 miles to understand the complexity of the border, visiting with local law enforcement all along the way. And they tell me they haven't gotten a call from our Attorney General. Not one deployment of legal resources. 2 weeks ago, he decided he was going to send down information packets. Information packets? That ain't going to cut it. I'm supporting Governor Abbott's Operation Lone Star effort, which is in order to basically say that if the federal government's not going to do their job, the state of Texas will. And what that means legally is that we can't legally enforce federal immigration law, but the state of Texas can enforce state criminal trespassing law. So we can arrest illegals on site immediately, detain them, apprehend them, and do so in an expedited manner. But the problem is many of our border county sheriffs and DAs are overwhelmed. You've heard the stats, 1.8 million apprehensions on an annual basis, with another million that got away. This is a tidal wave of illegal immigration, and I do think it's an invasion. The Attorney General over in Arizona recently wrote a legal opinion that says that under Article 4, Section 4 of the US Constitution, that the federal government has an obligation to defend all states from attack and from invasion. Whether it was Pancho Villa, in the last century, or smugglers that tried to move items around the DC area during the Federalist days, we have responded to this action before, but we're not doing it now. And the state of Texas needs to step in. So as Attorney General, what I'm proposing is enhanced criminal sentencing, working with the legislature to take the fight to known criminal traffickers that are pouring fentanyl on our street, enough to overdose the population of our state 3 times over. To continue the construction of the Texas wall, whether it's on GLO acreage or on parks and wildlife acreage. And then, of course, amping up our National Guard presence that we have in the state of Texas. Look, I'm coming to you as a military veteran. I deployed to Afghanistan. I know deployments are tough, but we need to secure our border. We got a president that's more focused on securing the Ukrainian border rather than the Texas southern border. We've got a vice president that spends more time in the air than she does on the ground talking to law enforcement. We got AOC coming to Texas last weekend saying that she was going to take away her guns, tear down the wall, and turn Texas blue. Well, my message to AOC is this. When you go back to New York, you can take Robert Francis O'Rourke too. Because, we don't want him either. We don't want him either. It's been a privilege to serve as your land commissioner. On a personal level, I'm a Christian. I'm a father. I'm a husband. And this has been a sacrifice, but a journey of a lifetime. Sharing my conservative vision on securing our border and backing our law enforcement. It's long past time that we back our law enforcement, more than just with words, but with action. They're literally under assault, whether it's in Travis County, where I live, not by choice, but out of necessity. The Constitution says you must do so. And Mandy and I have seen a front row seat to liberal progressive ideas. When you defund the police, it results in the largest spike of homicides in Austin history. There's a projection for over 500 homicides in the city streets of Houston. Enough is enough. When are we going to get tough on crime again? It requires an attorney general to step into the fold, but unfortunately our current guy, he's an indicted felon. And in Texas, as an indicted felon, you can't sit on a jury, you can't take out a real estate license, but most importantly, you can't wear the law enforcement uniform. How can you be our top cop if you can't look into fellow police officers' eyes and say, I'm here to get your back? He can't. There's no sense of urgency, and I will work with the legislature to pass the Law Enforcement Bill of Rights in the state of Texas. 14 other states have it, Texas doesn't. We need to give our law enforcement basic due process rights so that we can attract the next generation of Texans to serve in these roles. This is about corruption. I want to take on dirty, corrupt politicians in the city limits of Houston that steer contracts to their political cronies, or county judges in Harris County that do the same with their political allies, and take the fight to big county blue DAs that refuse to do their job. Check out my website, georgepbush.com, to learn more. Please exercise your right to vote. May God bless you. May God bless the great state of Texas.